Okay, I'm going to be reading Epictetus, The Complete Works. And actually, the book I'm reading from right now is actually Discourses, right? It's book 1, chapter 15. And the chapter is called The Prospect Held Out by Philosophy. When someone asked Epictetus to tell him how he could get his brother to stop being angry with him, he said, "Philosophy doesn't promise to help anyone get anything external. If it did, it would be taking on something extraneous to the material that's proper to it. Just as wood is a carpenter's material and bronze a sculptor's, so each individual's life is material for the art of living. What about my brother's life then? Again, that's the material for his art of living. But as far as your art of living is concerned, it's an external, like farmland, health, popularity. Philosophy doesn't hold out the prospect of you getting these things. Under all circumstances, I shall keep the command center aligned with nature." Whose command center? That of the individual in who I am to be found. So how am I to stop him from being angry with me? Bring him here and I'll talk to him, but I have nothing to say to you about his anger. At this, the man who was consulting him said, "What I want to know is how I can remain in accord with nature, even if he refuses to make peace with me." "Anything of any importance takes time," said Epictetus, "even a bunch of grapes or a fig. If what you were telling me now was, 'I want a fig,' I'd reply, 'Be patient. First, let the tree flower and then fruit, and then wait for the fruit to ripen.' So given that it takes time for even a fig tree's fruit to mature, and it doesn't happen overnight, are you wanting to get the fruit of human intelligence so quickly and easily? You shouldn't expect that, even if I were to promise that to you myself." Okay, I'm going to go on to reading the next one because that one's a little too short. This is going to be from book 1, chapter 18. This is still going to be Discourses. This is called "That One Should Not Get Angry with People for Their Mistakes." If what the philosophers say is true, and not only is assent only ever prompted by the feeling that something is the case, and the withholding of assent by the feeling that something is not the case, and by Zeus' suspension of judgment by the feeling that something is uncertain, but also an inclination to do something is prompted by the feeling that it's expedient for me to do it. And if it's impossible for me to judge something as in my best interest and yet desire something else, and impossible to judge one action as appropriate and yet have an inclination to do something else, if all this is true, why are we still so commonly angry with people? But there are thieves and robbers, aren't there? What does it mean to call people thieves and robbers? They are mistaken about good and bad. So do they deserve anger or pity? Show them where they've gone wrong and you'll see them desist from their mistakes. If they don't see what you're getting at, they remain bogged down in their mistaken beliefs. But shouldn't a thief or an adulterer be eliminated just for being who he is? No, and you'd do better to phrase your question like this: should we do away with the person because he's mistaken and misled about matters of supreme importance, and because he's becoming blind? Not in the sense that he's lost his ability to distinguish white and black by sight, but because he's lost the mental ability to distinguish good and bad. If you put the question like this, you'll realize how inhuman it is and see that it's no different from saying, "So shouldn't we kill this blind person or this deaf person?" If a person is injured most by the loss of the most important things, and if the most important thing in every individual is right will, what's the point in getting angry with someone if he loses it? Listen, man, if unnatural though it is, you feel obliged to adopt an attitude towards someone else's trouble, you should pity him rather than hate him. Let's have no more of this readiness to take offense and hate people. Think, who you are, man. Do you really want to express sentiments that one expects to hear only from the masses, such as curse these vile and loathsome people? Well, all right, but how come you've suddenly abandoned good sense and are now angry with other people? Anyways, why do we get angry? Because we value the stuff others take from us. I mean, look, place no value on your clothes and you don't get angry at someone for stealing them. Place no value on your wife's attractions and you don't get angry at someone else for seducing her. You need to appreciate that thieves and adulterers don't fall into the category of what's up to you, but into the category of things that are external to you and aren't up to you. If you dismiss them and consider them worthless, who can make you angry? And for as long as you give them significance, be angry with yourself, not with them. Consider the following scenario. You have nice clothes, your neighbor doesn't. You have a window on the street and you want to dry them. Your neighbor, in his ignorance about what constitutes the good of a human being, thinks, as you do too, that it consists in having nice clothes. So he'll come and steal them, won't he? If you let greedy people see that you've got a cake and you start to gobble it down on your own, aren't you inviting them to snatch it away from you? Don't tempt them. Do without a window on the street. Don't put your clothes out to dry. Something similar happened to me too. Just the other day, there's an iron lamp by my household shrine, and I heard the window make a noise and ran downstairs to find the lamp had been stolen. I reasoned that the thief had been moved by inclination he found compelling. All right, then I said, tomorrow I'll buy one of clay. The point is that one can only lose what one has. I've lost my toga. Yes, because you had a toga. I've got a headache, but you don't have a hornache, do you? So why are you annoyed? Only things we possess can be lost or ache. But the tyrant will chain what? Your leg? He'll remove what? Your head? So what can't be chained or removed? Your will. That's why men of old recommend the precept, know yourself. What we do have then by the gods is practice on little things and move on from this starting point to greater things. My head aches. Don't say, poor me. My ear aches. Don't say, poor me. I'm not saying you don't have the right to complain, but don't complain inwardly. And if the slave is slow in bringing the poultice, don't cry out and lose your composure. Don't say, everyone hates me. Who wouldn't hate someone who carries on like that? From now on, rely on these principles and walk upright and free. Don't rely on the size of your body like an athlete. You don't have to be invincible in the way that a donkey is. Who is invincible then? Anyone who isn't sidetracked by things that aren't subject to his will. And so next, I set myself to understand what might happen in every possible situation, as I would for an athlete. He's powered his way through the first round. What about the second? What if it's blazing hot? How will he perform in the Olympics? So likewise, for our invincible person, all right, if you offer him money, he'll reject it. But what if it's a girl that's an offer? What if it's after dark? What if it's fame? What if it's an insult? What if it's praise? What if it's death? He can't be defeated by any of these. What if it's blazing hot? Or the effect is the same, he's had some wine? What if he's in a black mood? What if he's asleep? Then this man I'd call an invincible athlete. So I think that's a good stopping point for today. If you really like my videos and you get something from this, just like, subscribe, comment, engage with me, and help support my channel to grow. Thanks.